All right, this is Pluto 7 from TBB, the official historian. I'm here with a collective of derelicts, guys from, various chapters within the crew. These guys I love, and these a bunch of, and gals, great group of people. This is family, not just, hip hop or breaking or TBB, but this is real family. To me, this is real family. So I have to say thank you for you guys being here. Thank you for your time. Happy 50th anniversary to all of you, and glad you guys could make it, and glad you guys could do this. So, we were going to start, and, we were going to do like individual, respected areas and all that stuff or whatnot. Somewhere down the line, we'll get to that. But right now, we're going to just do like a roundtable of collective stuff and variables about that. So we're going to, I'm going to ask you stuff specifically about the crew. So what does TBB mean to you guys?
Yeah, right or left, we want to start with.
You can start with whoever. All right, let's start from Kruger. Work our way down.
Shit, I don't know. Damn. I was waiting to hear everybody else's answer so I could come up with mine. I'm sorry. Still a comedian, right?
Sir, go ahead.
So TBB, TBG means legacy, family, hip hop culture. As we are, it's just the crew, but now become more like crew and family.
Yeah.
So also teachers, because since it's been around since the 70s, it is our due diligence to learn more about this and teach.
Yeah.
For those who want to know, okay, why you call yourself the Bronx Boys? Okay, because this, because Batch, because Abby, and because of what they did back in the 70s. So it's very important to learn that, to get back to not just the respective communities, but the culture in general.
Okay. Would you say that, collectively, like it's helped, your journey as a dancer, to translate that to the younger generation and give back? Because we see you giving back. We see, with your students and all of that stuff, you think that perspective has helped, to put them, to know the true knowledge of the culture other than like the sensationalism of it?
Yes, because when I'm teaching them, like for example, I'll teach them CC's, but I tell them it came from Crazy Commandos.
Yeah.
Then I ask them, where did it come from? Crazy Commandos.
Yeah.
So when they know the history, as Abby said, if you know your history, or if you don't know your history, then the dance doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
So my thing is, all right, look, it's one thing to know the moves, but knowing the history behind it gives you a better depth about it. So going forward, they're not just being in the studio doing whatever. Like, no, they have an understanding about what they're doing.
All right, thank you for that. Kevin Kev.
Hey, what up? This is TBB Kev. I joined the Bronx Boys Rockin' Crew because the name in itself is Rockin' Crew. And back when I wanted to rock, I said, who do I want to connect with? And then the Bronx Boys was there to show me the style and the rocking. And that's why it means a lot to me and just taught me how to rock. And that's what I wanted to do. So I was doing b-boy stuff, and then I got into rocking, and then I just met everyone here in the crew, and I learned so much history. And I travel around a lot to different countries, different states, and I've talked to a lot of older heads and just get all the history, and then it's good to connect with a lot of people.
That's good. So that is also influence your perspective. Being in the crew and the variables of being in a crew that's so legendary and has so much rich history. Would you say that has helped articulate some of your perspectives in your dance journey?
Yeah, because I connect with the older generation, and then I like to hear the stories. I've heard this story, that story, conflicting stories, and I just kind of had to put everything together and to have my own story. And one day when I get older, then that's the history I'll share from learning from the elders.
Oh, that's good. All right. The man, the myth, the legend.
I don't do that to me.
We got it on camera now, man. There's no turning back.
No, we're good.
The amazing Editron, who does Gold Paint Day, wow, this dude, he's a good dude. You know, yeah, I'm getting choked up. I love you, bro.
Love you too, bro.
You know, yeah, this shit is emotional for me, but
I know.
we've been through some stuff. You know, we've been through some stuff. You know, we still here, and we're not letting that shit stop us up. So, damn, bro.
You better not do that shit when you get to me, man.
No stopping. There's no stopping, man. Just
Yeah.
fine.
I know what it is, P.
You know what? Just give a little background and let me get myself together.
Yeah, wait. Editron, Texas President Chapter of the Bronx Boys Rocking Crew. And I'm privileged and honored to be in the squad with a lot of, I can't even say phenomenal, amazing. I don't, there's no word to really fit with every individual and the history that it holds. For me, TBB means foundation. It means structured, like family first type movement, action, and what we do with each other, for each other. What the camera just picked up in the audio, the visual now, you know, it's not something that was faked. I didn't pay this man to do that. You know what I'm saying? This is not.
Yeah, this shit ain't scripted. We don't do scripted.
It's not something that I had in mind, or I called, yo, you start crying or whatever. This is not. This is a little bit more heavy than what words can put into into our lives on film. So yeah, with that said, I'd just like to mention, give big thanks to people like this man behind him.
Yeah,
Bomb 5. Through the life I've lived, I was influenced by these people through video and hearsay. It was never with connection because of where I lived. My foundation starts in Hempstead, Long Island. I moved out to Houston, and that's when I started moving from there on out because I wanted to bring New York with me, and I did. I was able to do a lot of things that takes a lot to do in Texas. It's not easy. Trying to tell people that you like to throw yourself on the floor and spin, and then you're like, oh, well, look, I don't even like to do that anymore. I like to write on walls. And they're like, oh, that's even worse. You know, so you went from doing that to something that's even way more garbage. And I'm like, no, this is not garbage. This is something that I can actually do something with, and it's under the. I know my history, so I know the future. I know where this is going to go because I know where it's been.
And you're controlling the narrative of your destination.
Trying to,
Yeah.
my best.
That's what we all trying to do.
Without stumbling and fumbling, this is what it is at this point in our lives. We just got to take it further, and at this point, I think that we're all conscious enough to be able to. Okay.
All right. So next we have
Yo.
JM, DJ, extraordinaire. I mean, what can I say? When we collectively, break bread through technology, since we're all over the place and we can't be in one space, we congregate weekly. And the interesting thing about this dude is like I said before, he's in paradise.
He's a b-boy.
You know what I mean? And he's in paradise. He's got good energy. His energy is always, in the red zone, positive, making moves and doing so much. And we appreciate your energy. He's one of the newer guys, so we appreciate, him being forth in that, and that's what you need sometimes in the crew. You need new energy, to have people like, oh, that's the whole point of connecting with people. You don't just add people for the sake of like, yeah, we've got 100 crew members. That shit don't mean nothing. It's about having like a collective of energy. You know what I mean? Like we've learned that, we've seen that from what Bob has taught us, and energy. He's been doing that shit for 30 fucking years, yo. We can at least do it for the next 30 and carry the torch. So JM, I love you, I appreciate you, and yeah, man, what's your story, sir?
Thank you. I appreciate that. And there's two sides of that, because like I feed off y'all energy. Yeah. I see this man bouncing around, I'm feeding off of his energy. You know what I'm saying? I see Edit out of Pain Day just showing love to everybody and making sure everybody's okay. I'm feeding off of that energy. And I don't know if that's just me as a person or me as a DJ being in the mix of something and wanting to feed those kind of different energies. Like I started DJing in like 92, 93, sometime around that time. I was a battle DJ, and that was like, but being in Chicago, we was around graffiti writers, MCs and B-boys and B-girls and writers. And we understood, you know, what the culture was about, even in the early and mid 90s, but we understood we were doing a Bronx style.
Yeah.
Right? And me being a person that likes to keep their head in a book, and it's, you know, I want to know what's come before that, and before that, and before that, right? So for me, TBB is about being connected to the root of a tree,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
If you don't know where you've been,
Yeah.
you know, you don't really know where you're going.
And that's a great point. You know, I think, you know, a lot of us, you know, like if you decided to be a TBB, there's a connection of wanting, you know, to connect with all this. You know, we saw this from afar, and then we were like, wow, we have an opportunity to be a part of something historical, and like we don't stop there. You know, we try to find out the information and look into it and educate ourselves, so it instills more in us to reflect that out into the world. Since, you know, we're people of culture that know the history. I've had conversations with pretty much most of you guys, you know, about, you know, various stuff, you know, outside of the culture, inside the culture, the stuff that's outside the culture that's relevant to the culture. So yeah, I can see, you know, yep.
Like I had this, you know, perspective I probably mentioned a couple of times this weekend. I probably said it too much, but we're all sitting on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
Right? Like giants like Bomb,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Giants like the
Yep.
ones Bombs was discussing, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's like kind of the acknowledgement of that and enabling like that next generation of folks that's like, well, I want to know what that's about. You know, and to me, TBB really embodies that. You see Bomb embodying that. When I was here 2 years ago and you know, I had the pleasure of meeting this man, we going all through the city. He's like, bro, this used to happen over here. We used to meet with so, and it like,
It's
bro,
like,
I
boom,
can't.
like your head is
like,
exploding.
bro,
Like, yeah.
it was like, and the thing is, man, like, there's nothing I could have given to get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a price. It's a priceless kind of thing. And so to be within that community and get that love, like, man, you know, whatever I could bring to the table, whatever I could add to that tree, you know, you call on me. Okay, absolutely, straight like that.
I just also want to state something. You know, when I said your head exploding, pause. But you know, and the best segue, this dude right here this is my boy right here too, man. I love this dude, like Kruger, man. I just love him for his and being a dude. Like his energy is great. You know, you guys are like the guys that are like reflective. Like I wish I had grown up with. You know what I mean? So we've had so much great, you know, conversations about life. You know, struggles. And then the culture, so yeah, I don't know why the fuck I'm so emotional.
You know what it is.
Emotional means you're being real, yo.
Yeah.
Emotional means you're being real.
Yeah.
And that's what we want in this group.
Yeah.
Be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, energy's good.
No one here is taking that for granted.
Yeah.
We feeling the love you have.
We're not faking it. We're
No.
not cutting this out. None of that shit.
Hey.
We're showing all this shit.
Yeah, you can cut it and
That's
slice
who I am. That's who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kruger, man. Like, yeah, man. He's the dude that, you know, like, we pretty much talk almost every day about all types of shit, dumb shit, you know, shit about history. And, you know, he knows a certain amount of history that I can have a special conversation with him that I can't with a lot of people because he knows so much. Like, this dude is a historian himself. Don't let it get twisted. He just don't go out there and advertise himself, but, yo, he knows his shit. So, without further ado, you know, Kruger, you know, from the South Carolina chapter, my brother. What's your story, bro?
Yeah, I'm DJ Thematic, aka Fred Kruger, the president of South Carolina chapter. I don't even know where to begin. Doing this, I started out doing graffiti, then I got into b-boying, then I got into DJing. And I guess it's been, 13, 14 years with TBD, something like that? Yeah. And I really, like I said, the first thing that popped in my mind, is just family. I mean, like I said, I speak to a lot of y'all more than I speak to my real, especially you.
Same here. Yep. Same here, man. Do you think that again, you are a person who has a great knowledge of this culture, and even outside culture that we think ties into it. We see it. We kind of see it differently. You know, there's various, you know, frequencies of vision of the culture that, you know, everybody doesn't see, but we see. You think, you know, that had an influence on you, like, you know, as far as being in the crew and your perspective, and you know, I know you embody the principles of the foundation of a lot of the, you know, the stuff. So, you think that's what that like directs you from day to day and everything, you know, all the stuff that, you know, we do within the culture, in your community, and also in the crew.
Well, yeah, I mean, like coming from South Carolina, and especially, you know, pre-internet, we had nothing to learn from. So it's like every time I would learn, I was trying to like soak up everything like a sponge. And then, you know, even beyond just like, I really wanted, like, you know, like you're saying, like, well, define the influences of everything. You know, like not just to, you know, like know like the moves, but know where they were inspired from. Like I want to see like all the kung fu movies that they've been inspired. So like every little thing that inspired the code, because it's like it's the music, it's the style of dress. I mean, like my style of breaking. Like the first time I got a pair of Lee jeans, my style of breaking changed. Because like I was rocking like baggy fucking like pants, like, you know,
I'm the same way.
Like track pants or like really baggy jeans. But when I put on those Lees, it's like there's a certain amount of restriction that gives you a style that you can't get with. With, you know,
I've told you that before.
It's so it's like all those little things. I mean, like that's one of the reasons why, you know, I mean, like I wanted to be with TBB. I mean, like it was, you know, especially back then we weren't, you know, like a lot of people didn't even know anything about TBB.
Yeah.
You know, like I got in like right as we started the research, and you know.
Yeah, that was an incredible time. You know, a lot of people. You know, we had a spike. You know, and you know, good or bad. You know, like any crew, every crew has its ups and downs. But you know, when we had the spike, what the spike did, you know, the pro of all of that is that it introduced us back into the culture. You know, our existence and collective, the consciousness of the OGs was slowly seeping back in. You know, and then people always, you know, wanted to know because fresh as kids, you know, had briefly mentioned and had batch and all that stuff. So it heightened all of that. So we were all curious. You know, wherever we were in our journey of, you know, like when we first heard TBB, you know, the space we were at, and then, you know, the curiosity. And then the curiosity, you know, turned into like, you know, a lot of us becoming crew members. You know, which was dope. So yeah, man, I can dig that, man. I can definitely dig that. So do you think that like how do you feel, man? It's the 50th, man.
I'm happy to be back in New York. It's been 25 years since I met you.
Yeah, 25 years ago. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, we randomly met at a practice spot with our boy Tony Brown, and then found out like 15 years later.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. So we have the infamous Carmen.
I'm this way because I'm the new kid on the block.
Okay.
So let's keep it going, rolling with the seniority.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have my dear brother AJ. Good energy, funny dude. Like I could say, like I have like pretty much all your personalities. You know what I mean? That's why like I mesh with you guys. I have like bits of DNA of your personalities. AJ's perspective of just random, just like goonage, derelictism. Like I love it. You know, like that's
what TBB is.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a part of that. You know, the conversations that we have, like on Sundays, you know, and I'm putting it out there. You know, the after dark conversations after we're our ties and all. We're being good TBB members, and then the after dark conversations. Everybody random like whatever. It's all this craziness. AJ's always there, to add his energy and keep the volume up and the fun and just like the craziness. And I'm like, the more I talk to you, I'm like, yeah, I like that shit. So yes, that's your intro. So yeah. I would like you,
Yeah.
You know, what does the 50th mean to you? And we're glad you're here, you know, because, you know, unfortunately we don't get to see you enough, but, you know, we
So,
interact as much as we possibly can.
Yeah.
So, you know, what is all of that, you know, history collectively mean to you, you know, coming from the ATL
Right.
and all of that, you know, and all the influence?
Yeah, well, AJ is the name, HBO with Surf, you know, and we was rocking HBO before we even met TBB.
Yeah.
And as Abby was coming out of the woodwork, we met up with him and we was like, okay, so y'all was rocking HBO. It would just be, you know, due respect to, you know, pay homage and say, what y'all up to? You know, like later, let's get together and kick it, you know?
Yeah.
So we just kicked it and we understood what, you know, history is and who these people were. So we're like, this is eyewitness accounts. You know, if you don't want to be a part of that, then you just don't want to hear what they got to say and don't want to hear what history you might find out. You know what I mean? Like, and everybody's got history, and hip hop is, you know, it's a little derelict, like you said. You know what I mean? Like, and that's
We
my
could
life.
never like take that out of the culture, you know.
My life
That's
is-
for the corporate dudes.
Right. My
You know what I
life is,
mean?
you know, that way, and it has been. You know, my dad is HBO. He created that crew, Zapper.
Yes,
and,
sir. Zapper.
And you know, we've been running around with, and he started in the 80s.
He's a super
you know?
dude.
And he's a little, you know, he's a little b-boy since way back, and so he just, you know, taught us, and we learned the game and became friends with these guys, and you know, kept playing. You know, here we go.
Okay.
Still loving my 50th year. I mean, you know, I've only saw 35 years of that, so here I am still learning, you know, trying to be a student.
Okay, so what do you excuse me, what do you personally get out of being a TBB member? Like, how does that connect with you know,
Yeah.
your the narrative of, you know, also with HBO and collectively in the culture, you know, in your
Well, you
area,
know-
and just in general of being in the crew?
Yeah, it's way older than us, you know. It's something that's way older than us, way more ancient than what even the 70s had given out, you know. It's something deep within humanity that we're trying to give back to rather than take from. So, you know, we got to continuously give back to the community, to hip hop, and just, you know, try to be the best we can be within that community, right?
All right,
Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's cool. So when you got down in the crew, you know, and collectively a lot of the members of ATL, you know, got down or whatever, whatnot, and then you start, you know, my whole experience of seeing you guys is like, yo, they're the wildest chapter in TBB right now.
Yeah.
The wildest. You know, I was still, you know, I remember the second day of one of the anniversaries, you know, and we were at, you know, the smaller, what's the graffiti spot that, you know, we used to go to, the one they had in Chinatown, but they had one in the Bronx. My mind is going to blank. Tough City, yes. We were at the Tough, you know, so we were at the Tough City, the one in Chinatown. You know, Chief curated that. So AP, you know, I see him walking up, so I was like, yo, the ATL chapter is just like us, bro. You gotta meet these dudes. Just go up there and say, sir.
Right.
Yo.
And
know,
yo, it was on. You know, like the thing that's great about all this is like we, you know, like even if it was the first time we met each other, it was just so natural.
Yeah.
Like, you know, whether we were talking briefly or a lot on social media and then we were finally meeting each other.
Yeah.
The great thing is like when we met each other, like it was like, yo, we had known each other for years.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I have a connection to a lot of you guys more than, you know, the guys I grew up with. You know what I'm saying?
And that's how it was with Abby when I met him, you know. It was immediate, you know, connection and friendship. And it was like, okay, well, not only are you just a cool ass dude, but you know a lot of history about what I'm, you know, trying to do and been trying to do. And I'd be just retarded if I wasn't willing to listen, you know, and learn.
Yeah.
from all of everybody in TBB. There's so many members.
You could
so
go to
many
you could go so you know you could go to any chapter and and learn a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and
people willing to teach it.
right, and that's important to me in my life. Is looking back at our history and trying to understand it with an open mind. And then trying to embody those things that we're seeing. To support. The kids really, because it's all for the young adults that are growing up trying to leave a legacy.
The ATL, like you guys have a breaking culture of giving back to the youngsters,
Oh yeah,
which is dope.
have to. Atlanta.
ATL in the building, man. Always in the building, man. So, all right. So we have Carmen, one of the newer members. I can say, on social media, I saw you everywhere, and I was like, "Who's this chick that's like everywhere?" Like, she knows everybody. Like Carmen knows everybody. I don't know if you guys really know that, or if you see it. Like she's like everywhere, and like she travels, to go to these events, and she's a great supporter of the culture. So when she got down to TBB and was helping put the anniversary together, I was like, oh wow, this is cool, whatever, whatnot. So, in the brief time that we've collectively interacted and the whole nine, we've had great conversations. We've even shared, personal things and all of that stuff. And it's a natural thing. And, I just think you're a great human being. You're honest, you're sincere, you're passionate. And you really, you really help organize, you're one of the great contributors for the 50th anniversary, and I say thank you and I appreciate you.
Hey, you're not allowed to make me cry now, okay? That's not how it works here. My name is Carmen. I go by Hono Iman. Hono is my nickname from my mother because I'm her one and only. Iman is my actual middle name. I am definitely multicultural. So it's really, really, really incredibly humbling and honoring to be a part of TBB is that hip hop has, grown and manifested from the Bronx, New York, to all of the statesides, to worldwide, to universal. And it's what brought us together. It's what keeps us together. It's fair to say that we were all young, impressionable kids that grew up looking up to you guys here in New York.
Yep.
And for me, I went from being born outside of Cleveland, Ohio, being raised in Chicago, living in the South, in Louisiana, went over to Houston, Texas, went back to Chicago, went to Cali, and I'm now in Florida. Well, I lived abroad too, so I lived in Cairo, Egypt. And I also am now residing in Orlando, Florida. So for me, I've been a part of the rebel crew in Houston, Texas. My ex-husband was a B-boy who was teaching me to be an aspiring B-girl. That was a little short-lived because I started my family, have 5 kids, was married for 18 years. But I definitely can say what I learned from hip-hop, being in Chicago, being a part of the Alpha Renegades crew, being a part of Chirac Nation crew, being a part of in Houston, Chicago, the Zulu Nation. We definitely learned what hip-hop's true essence and meaning actually was and is till today, because that's what we keep holding each other together with is community, right? So when we talk about each one teach one, and we talk about all of the grand things that have collectively made hip-hop, whether it be all of the elements, DJ, MC, the writers, the DJs, the B-boys, the B-girls, like all of that, we're one nation under a groove, right? So for me, I wanted to DJ. I went to Scratch Academy to try and learn to be a DJ. But it's just like life's you, right? And we all know that. And so for me, to have been able to be humbled and honored to be a part of TBB and TBG's 50th anniversary. It was seeing, you know, the freshest kids back in the day, being able to learn when, you know, all you could do was be a house mom. You have the VHSs, you have the DVDs, the battle of the years and all of these things, right? You get to really kind of connect and, you know, watch you guys, you know, putting it all out for the world to see. I really was never one person to be able to like to have, you know, the spotlight on me. So that was something. I was a soccer player, so I'm a team player. So that to me kind of was a little deterrent, but at the same time, like, I was in awe of every one of you guys, like, and all that you do. Like, that's just amazing to me, right? So Abby is somebody that, you know, we've had multiple conversations, personal and otherwise, and with his wife Cece, you know, it's really pulling together as a collective, you know, pulling each other's energies, keeping strong, you know, striving to be better so that the next generation, when we pass the baton, because they passed the baton to us, like, we were second, third generation, right? So that's our duty now, is to keep that going for the next generation, because we don't want to see this die out, right?
The whole point of this is to pass it on.
It's that, right? And it's internationally known, right? So it's one of those things that when you don't have, this is what we were raised with, this is all we had, you know, because we didn't have the luxury of having this, that, the other, whatever it may be. But, you know, I think that to me is a blessing, and I'm so grateful to be amongst everyone's greatness. And it is work, and it was tireless. I would be, you know, taking calls in Cairo, Egypt. I'm in, you know, in wherever I would travel to for work, and we dedicated every single Sunday. We may have faltered off of like maybe 3 Sundays or something, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and 4th of July, but we have been working at this every single Sunday from November till now. And it had to be something grand, because you guys, of everything that you guys have been, and all of the work that you've made this be the 50th.
We always try to squeeze in extra stuff. You know, pause.
Yeah, but you know, that's the thing, is like, it can't just be one person, right? So it's all of us as a collective. And I mean, to me, it's just, I think that my heart, mind, body, and soul has been multiple things, but hip hop is definitely at the core for me.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely that. So, thank you guys for having me here.
And thank you, you know, for the work you put in, you know. Tomorrow will be the crew's anniversary. We will be at full capacity with many of the members nationally, internationally. So it will be a beautiful thing. So, you know, we get to celebrate, you know, something that's great, you know, something that we cherish, and something that, you know, we're going to, you know, look back and say, yo, this was like, what is that, 2 centuries? You know, like wow, 2 centuries of a b-boy crew celebrating, you know, the legacy and the greatness and all that, and you're going to see from the OGs all the way up to everybody now. So I think that's going to be great and amazing. So I want to thank all of you guys for being here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you all individually. I love having conversations with all you guys. And yeah, man, tomorrow it's on.
5 decades of greatness.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo.
50th anniversary.
Happy 50th.
Happy 50th. Happy 50th.
What?
Thank you.